word. When we say small word, we mean this Chevening mentorship. We are happy to be with you at the last meeting of our global mentorship.
Nyamaze. Na kama ni wewe unafaa useme si ujue how to address it.
We are happy to be with you at the last day of our mentorship, and hopefully today we have 3 new scholars for you, and they will be sharing their experience with you. We will be waiting for maybe more 2 or maximum 3 minutes, and I will be using this time to show you the Facebook, the Facebook page and the videos that we have already shared. And if you guys mute yourself, it will be helpful for everyone. Okay, we have shared all our activities on our Global Chevening Mentorship page on Facebook, and for next year, some of you will be managing and running these activities by this page maybe. At the first day, me, Diyar, and Abdullah from Iraq, Ricardo from Mexico, from Lancaster University, Glasgow, and LCE, we managed the first meeting. And the second meeting was by John from Honduras in Ishmael University, Madiha from Afghanistan at Lancaster University, Yusuf Ali from Libya at Newcastle University. The third one was from Lilian from Tanzania at Lancaster University, and Ntombis Didi, South Africa, University of Reading, Yadistis, Ethiopia, University of Sussex. And the fourth day was by Sekretariya Kusumasti, or Sky. When you see blue sky, remember this girl. Indonesia, Lancaster University, she is my classmate. Abdurrahman Eus from Egypt at University of Edinburgh. Anna from Moldova, and she is studying at Kiel University. Actually, it was first time to hear Kiel. Very new university. Christine from Turks Islands, and she's studying at, come on, even I can't read the name. Gulnara from Kyrgyzstan, she's studying at Lancaster University. Chernil from Lidzbark University. So, and for today, we have these 3 fantastic scholars. I know this guy, I've already mentioned our story about this guy. Okay, this is Robert. This is a part of our squad. Remember, I mentioned about the importance of mock interview. Okay, Robert from Kenya is studying at University of Sussex, and we have Fatoumata from Gambia. She is studying at University of Essex, and we have this lovely guy. He's crazy for traveling and this stuff. You can ask him. You can get experience at that point. Mohammed Naif from Maldives, and he's studying at University of Lancaster. So this is Facebook. Regarding the YouTube, I've shared the videos in my private account. You can find the playlist Chevening Scholarship Mentorship, and I have shared all videos, and I'll be sharing today's video there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can easily find them and write down your notes whenever you feel you have enough time. So let's get back to the meeting. If you have Muhammad, Matta, and Robert, if you open your camera, so we may start our meeting. And yeah, we have Muhammad. Hello, Muhammad. And Robert, my guy. Matta. Yeah, hello, Matta. Okay, guys. I don't remember the order. I think that the first one is Robert or Muhammad. Yeah, Robert, go ahead.
Wow, 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 wow. Dear, thank you so much for the powerful introduction. I'm so excited to be in this forum. I don't know why I feel so happy to be here. I want to congratulate all of you for reaching this stage. And I also want to thank my fellow facilitators for finding time to do this. I know you guys are super busy. Thank you so much. And dear, thank you so much for organizing this. You are amazing. You're an amazing guy. I can't thank you more. And thank you guys for finding time to also log on. I am supposed to take 15 minutes. So dear, please, if I reach 15 minutes, just stop me because I have a teaching background and I can speak for forever. So just stop me. I will feel very nice if you stop me.
Maximum 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Maximum?
Yes.
Amazing. My approach is just to share my experience with the interview. I don't have any slide. I'll just share my experience, and maybe you can pick something from there that resonates with you, or that you can also apply in your own case. I would like to start by saying that being invited for an interview basically means that you're a Chevening scholar. You are the person that Chevening is looking for. And I want you to feel a little bit proud because of that. But going forward, what this means is that Chevening has read your essays. Chevening loves you. Chevening wants you to be in the UK, but they want to see whether the person on paper and the person who will come on Teams or on or face to face will be the same person. So make sure that you put your best foot forward. And in my experience, I said that it's gonna be 45 minutes. For some people, it was less, but it was 30 minutes, 20 minutes between you now and the rest of your life. That's how serious it is. Like 40 minutes between who you are now and the rest of your life. So what it means is like in that 40 minutes period of time, you have to do everything. Like you have to use every part of your body to really convince these people that you need this opportunity and you've got what it takes. So one thing that I would like to reiterate, and Dia has talked about it, is about mock interview. Dia is like a brother to me, and we have never met in physically. As much as I have been in the UK for close to 6 months, we've not found time to meet. But when I see him, I'm like, ah, that's my guy. It's because we connected basically through mock interviews, and definitely we have plans to meet. So I want to encourage you to do as many mock interviews as possible. Please, I lost count for the number of interviews I did. If you can still count the number of mock interviews you did, then you still need to do more. Do mock interviews with current scholars like us. You can reach out to those who have time. I believe I find sometimes, though I don't want to promise much, but I know there are people who can find time to help you do 15 minutes, 30 minutes mock interviews. Do mock interviews with current applicants, because there's a way it helps you people to form a family, you know. And then thirdly, do mock interviews with a layman or a lay person, somebody who does not even know what Chevening is. Why am I saying that? Because when you do that and you tell your story to them, if you tell your story to them and they understand your story, then you have communicated and you will be able to convince the panel. Because remember, it is you who know what you've been doing, and you have to do everything to communicate it to the other end. So do a mock interview with people in your field, and also do mock interviews with people who don't know what you are doing. And if they ask you questions that show that they understand what you are talking about, then you got it. It means you have communicated what you have inside your brain. So that is something that you may want to check on. And then please take advantage of the online community. Dia has told us that there is a Facebook page. Like that page, follow the communications there. If you are attending such an event today for the first time, because I know their friends are invited, if you're attending the first one of such an event, then it means you have to really pull up, because you really need to know what's going on around the world in terms of what applicants in Mexico, in North America, in Africa are doing, and follow through through WhatsApp, through Facebook, and all the other social media avenues. Also compile all the possible questions. We have I think I had a list of close to 100 questions. So that is something that you can also do. Have a Microsoft Word document and have all the possible questions that you can be asked, and try going through them and see whether you can answer them fluently. Next thing, please do research. Do research. Do research. Do research. That is very, very important. I would say I got Chevening because of COVID, because as I've mentioned before, I'm a teacher, and if I applied for Chevening when schools were on, I wouldn't have gotten time to really research. So I know some of you are working, some of you are running families, but try to really research. What do I mean by research? Watch as many YouTube videos of current and past scholars. They are there and they are breaking it down for you like nobody's business. Also use Google. You'll get all the tips. And please don't forget the Chevening website. That is where everything is. In the Chevening website, you will pick the words, because you know when you communicate to Chevening using the keywords that they're using on their website, then you will connect with them. They'll be like, okay, this is our guy, he understands what we want. So read the Chevening website upside down, get everything that is there, and really get to know the spirit of what they really want. And remember, Chevening only wants 1,500. So this is where it gets tough. The whole world, 1,500. In Kenya, it was around 40. It's tough, it's scary. But how do you reconcile that scary part and you getting it? For me, what I said is that I know 1,500 is so little. I know 40 in Kenya, out of so many people who applied, that is so little. But I prayed and I asked God that I only want one chance. God, I know there are so many chances, but for me, just give me one. And I'm not looking at the 39 chances. I want to believe that one of those chances is mine. So that is also a good attitude to approach this thing with. That even if the UK government says that because of COVID and because of the war in Ukraine and Russia, we are reducing the number of applicants to 2, don't say, oh my God, now my chance is gone. No, 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 no. Those 2, one is still yours. That is the attitude. Even if they say from Afghanistan, we are only taking 1, then just keep on encouraging that yourself that one person is still me. That kind of attitude will keep you moving, will keep you going. believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Dear, thank you so much for using Teams. This application is scary, but the UK embassy in Kenya actually used Teams. And if at all anybody is listening to me and you'll do online interview, oh my God, make sure all your mock interviews, you use the online application that will be used for your interview. I tried pushing Dia that, oh, let's use Zoom. For Zoom is good. Zoom is easy to use. But Dia was like, let's use Teams. So Teams, Dia, thank you so much for being considerate, because I know in most countries, UK embassy will be using Teams. But if you'll be using Skype, Facebook, Zoom, make sure you get to really understand that app. My experience with the interview day is that, guys, I had to travel from where I work. I was teaching in a remote school in Nyakach, somewhere in Kisumu, that is in Kenya, and I was not sure of the internet. I'm not saying there was no internet. There is internet, but I was not sure of the internet. So I had to get reasons that I'm not going to share here to get out of work and travel to the city, the closest city, and do my interview there. That is how serious it got. When I traveled to that city, I booked a hotel. Guys, look at how serious. I booked a hotel. I slept in a hotel room. Somebody needs to mute. I booked an hotel room just to do a 40 minutes interview. And to make it even more serious, I went to the National Library office in Kisumu, because I was like, which part of this world can I get the most quiet place with the best internet? And I actually went to the director's office and I told the director, hey, I have a life-changing nice space. I looked so executive in the interview, and I set up everything, and I asked her to lock me inside, and she went. And I told her, I'll call you when I'm through. So guys, I set up everything, and let me shock you. When the interview started, I was so pumped up. I was so ready. Do you know what happened? These guys were not seeing me. They were like, Guy, Robert, we can't see you. I was like, God, ancestors from the village have followed me to the city. How comes Teams is now failing me? So I started sweating, and they were so helpful. They were like, you can try another means. So guys, in short, I want to say I used my phone for the interview because my laptop refused to work. This can happen to you, and most people have shared the same experience that technology failed them. What you do in case of such a scenario, keep your cool, keep yourself composed, and as a preparation measure, make sure you have like 2 laptops for the day. Don't just rely on one. A friend of mine I was sharing told me that he did his preparation the previous night. Then in the morning, when he woke up, he realized that the rat had actually eaten his internet cable. Look at how these things can get out of hand. So that morning is there, and the internet cable is cut. So, dear, that one means I have 2 minutes. Oh my God. In these 2 minutes, what I would like to say is that please have a coherent story. Have a single story. You'll be answering so many questions, but let the interviewers hear one whole story. Let them not feel like you are trying to do so many things. Even if you are answering the question on networking, study in the UK, let that single thing that you're doing keep coming through, because that is basically what they want to hear. And I also want to say that please make the interviewers work easy. If you try to imagine being in their shoe, it's hard. All of you are good. So if the only way to make their work easy at picking you is to really, really let passion ooze out of your interview. Okay, some of us are introverts, but that day I want to invite you to be a little bit crazy. Let every part of your body communicate what you mean. Because if you go there and you're just like, they'll be like, okay, this guy has done a lot of things, but he doesn't really believe in what he's saying. So make sure you are as passionate, as convincing as possible. And for me, I'm sorry to say this, but they sent an email and they said we only have we'll be doing 25 minutes interview. But I was like, I'm going to communicate passion, and passion cannot be caged. So for me, when I went in there, we started having a conversation, and I think my interview went for like 59 minutes. And yeah, it just went. And when I was sharing with people later, they were like, mine was 20 minutes, mine was 10 minutes. But I was like, for me, I was communicating what I've been doing. So if taking a lot of time will make me fail, let it be. But make sure you communicate everything, because you will not regret having shared, but you will regret having not shared. So everything that can build you, make sure you put it on the table. So make sure you have eye contact. You have done all this preparation. Let your eyes be on the lens. And just to finish, I want to say that show them that you have a solution to a problem. Basically, that's what UK wants. You have a solution to a problem that UK cares about. And how can this study in the UK really support you in doing what you're doing? So let them have a feeling that you have been doing something, you are doing something, and you will still do something with or without the scholarship, but the scholarship will actually boost you so that you move faster. That's the simple language I can use for you to really understand what the UK wants. They want a leader. Of course, everybody wants to associate with great leaders like Dia. I'm so privileged to be his friend. He's a great man in his country. So UK also wants to be your friend, because guys, this is just politics, by the way. Chevening is just politics. They want people who will take leadership in their countries in future, and they have strategic interests. So what do we do? If you have a story, there's something you've been doing, you're still doing it, and you will still continue doing it, then they will boost you. So make sure that you show them that even after you submitted your essay, there's some things you've done. Don't just make it seem that when you submitted your essay, you stopped working. No. Even when they ask you some questions, say that even after submitting my essay, I got involved in this and that. That one will prove that, oh, this guy is self-motivated, self-driven. I respect time. I had a lot to share, but dear, because I know time is not on our side, I want to pause there. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
listening
you
to me.
so much, Robert. Actually, I think I'm so lucky that previous year, I don't know how I found you or how we found each other, but I remember we had a WhatsApp group and we had mock interviews. I was panelizing your mocks, you were panelizing my mocks. So yeah, here we are. Thank you, Robert. We are going. Yeah, thank you, Robert. Again, we will be waiting for the next session, which is discussion. So don't leave the group. Okay, we are moving to the Matta part. Matta, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. My name is Fatimata, and today I'm just going to share with you some very useful tips that you need to know ahead of your Chevening interview. Specifically, I'm going to tell you about introduction, how to introduce yourself, and how to answer the Chevening leadership question. because the whole interview thing can really be intense and all of that, I just want to make sure I give you as much information as I can. So I'm gonna hit it straight on the point. I'm gonna make sure we keep this very simple. So first thing, like I said, if you walk into the interview room, definitely you are meeting people that you probably have not met before. And obviously, when they ask you to have a set, they're going to tell you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. And I keep telling people that when someone tells you to introduce yourself, they have given you the greatest honor. Why? Because you know yourself more than any other person. You can speak better about yourself than any other person. You can make someone get to really understand you in a minute. You can also get someone to understand you in 10 minutes. It just depends on how you manage your time. So I'd advise you that you manage your time very, very well. Make sure that you keep it very simple and very precise. Don't beat around the bush. So the introduction is always usually it's scheduled in three components. Tell us about yourself. First thing you want to talk about yourself. For example, my name is Matta. I was born and raised in the Gambia. I attended University of the Gambia. I graduated with a degree in law. I worked at the TRRC as this, and that. Prior to that, I worked as this, and that. I did this and that. I did that. So those kind of things. Just divide it into personal, professional, academic. You can choose to say personal, academic, professional. Talk about yourself briefly. When I say you should talk about personal, it just means that you need to tell them who you are, as in, I am this person, this is my name, I was born and raised in the Gambia, or I was born and raised in India, wherever you are. Just tell them that you're born and raised here. You did this and that. I tell them that I'm from a very lovely family. Yeah, happy to be here. I attended university. Then I came to my academics, just gave them a brief of my education. Then I went into my professional life. I told them about my work. I told them about the volunteering activities that I did. And I also told them how excited I am to be given the opportunity to be invited to the Chevening interview. I thank them for really selecting me out of the many applicants that applied and for giving me the platform for the interview, and that I hope that we have a very meaningful session. With a smile on my face. So I set the pace. I kind of feel that a lot of times people take interview to be really serious. In as much as this is something that is really, really valuable, you want to have the Chevening scholarship. Guys, it's not the end of the world. The people that are interviewing you, they party too, they chill, they're humans, they're not vegetables. So just be yourself. Let them see you flow naturally. Don't try to be unnecessary to impress anybody. You just have to be your authentic self. I tell people that you need to be as authentic as possible. Don't go out of the box to impress anybody. Because if you do that, you're going to put yourself in trouble. There are some things that you want to say, you just miss them out. Why? Because you're doing so much to impress people, and don't fall for it. Just be yourself. So from introducing yourself, obviously, from my interview, the next question that they asked me is talk about a leadership experience. Now, one thing I like you to know is that there are differences between leadership skills and leadership. Leadership, there's a difference between your skills as a leader and your qualities. Don't mix them. They're different. For example, being charismatic is a quality of a good leader, but it's not a skill. Being able to negotiate very well is a skill of a leader. It's not a quality. So identify and understand these two. I'm going to tell you the qualities of a leader. I'll also tell you the skills of a leader. So I'll tell you the problem that I identified when I was asked my leadership question. I told them that during my workplace, when I was just employed to work with the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission of the Gambia, it came at a time that we had issues. The department that I was employed into, they had issues with statements because we take statements from. So the issues that we had were that a lot of victims will come and the statements will be taken, and when they're forwarded to the legal team will have a problem. They will always say that the statements are not good, they're very, very clumsy, they are not properly written, and that the statement taking department is not doing very, very well. So there has been like an ongoing conflict between the legal team and the statement taking team. So when I came into the picture, I suggested to my supervisor that I want to come with a format that I think will address the problems that the legal team is having. So he welcomed the idea, he supported me, he encouraged me to go ahead and do it. So I did the template, I sent it to the department. So when I sent it to the department, the legal department approved my template. And then they said template will now be used as the template that we will follow, the format that the state taking department will follow henceforth. So that was a success for me because I was the youngest staff of the commission. And I came in at a time that this problem was actually ongoing. And I had to make sure that I provided a remedy to the problem. Now, if you ask me the leadership skills that I used to solve that problem, one is I use my innovative skills. I knew that there's a problem. I had to come up with a way to solve the problem. That's part of being innovative. That's a skill of a leader. I also use my strategic thinking skills. That is a skill of a leader. I knew very well what the problem is. I knew what was going on. I had to be very, very strategic with my thinking and make sure that I go ahead with the strategy that was going to be adopted. I would have actually gone to my colleagues and say, oh, you're not doing this very well. You're not doing this is what I think. But no, I channeled it to the supervisor. That was being strategic. I made him understand what I feel. Then I prepared the template and I brought it back to the office for everybody to see it. And yeah. So that is it for the strategic thinking skills. Another skill, obviously, that I put on the table is my problem solving skills. As a leader, obviously, you want to solve the problem. You want to really identify where the problem is. You want to be able to provide a solution to the problem. That is part of a skill because that's not something that everybody can do. So there are people, obviously, that can know where the problem is, but they cannot really tell you how to solve the problem. So obviously, I use my problem solving skills. I also use my negotiation skills. Why? Because when I prepared the template, I was called upon to explain to them how I intend to go about it. What and what and what and what and what did I include in it and why did I include it? How am I going to explain this to my colleagues? I had to negotiate. I had to persuade them. I had to make them understand that this and this is what I intend to do. This is how I want it to be done. And at the end of the day, we are going to restore confidence in this team. So I made them believe in what I had to do. So these were the skills that I use. I use my strategic thinking skills. I use my problem solving skills. I use my negotiation skills. And I also use my innovative skills. What qualities do you have as a leader? Now, you know that as a leader, you must be honest because you're working with people. You want to really earn their respect. You want them to really believe in your vision. You want to be very honest with what you're doing. You want to be very transparent. That's a quality of a leader. It's not everybody that gets to be honest. You have people that are entrusted. You have people that are actually entrusted in positions and they're not really honest enough to inspire confidence from their followers. So being honest is a quality of a leader. Another quality of a leader, obviously, is being empathetic. You want to really feel what your people feel. You want to work with people and make them feel part of the system. You want to bring a sense of inclusion with the people that you're working with. That will reinforce a very positive environment. So your quality as a leader to be able to empathize with your subjects is something that not everybody can do. Of course, the third quality of a leader is ability to listen. If you can listen, you can communicate. I tell people that the greatest listeners are actually the best communicators because you listen to people. When they encode something, you're able to decode it when you listen properly. So it's very, very important that you listen. It's not everybody that can listen. There are some people that are very, very impatient with listening, or you say something when the conversation gets uncomfortable, they don't want to listen again. So you want to avoid that. So that is the quality of a leader. It's not everybody that can do that. Obviously, other things about the qualities of a leader has to do with being charismatic. I mentioned it. You also want to ensure that you are resilient in the sense that you want to inspire confidence, you want to drive change, and this change has to be something that's very, very meaningful. So if you tell Chevening about your leadership experience, tell them the problem. First rule, identify the problem. Show them how you were able to identify the problem as a leader. Tell them the steps that you have taken to solve the problem. Tell them about how you inspired your skills and your qualities. How did you blend the both of them to solve the problem? Remember the inclusion aspect of it. You have to work with the people. How did you work with people to get this done? Because as a leader, you definitely cannot work alone. You need to work with people. When you solve the problem, what came out of it? Like, what was the impact? My interview, the guy was very, very interested to know the impact of the work I did. He asked me, and I told him that the impact was that it restored confidence and hope in my department. The legal team had the confidence that they ordinarily should have in my team. That was restored. They now believe in us and they entrusted us with the work. So it's simple. That is just it. What, why, how, impact. Finish. So that is it for the leadership question. Another question that you will be asked is your Chevening return policy. Obviously, you know that your time in the UK is 1 year. After the 1 year, you are supposed to come back home and serve your nation. That is the reason they are giving you the scholarship. So the question is very, very nuanced in the sense that sometimes they will ask you, why do you choose to study in the UK and not in your country? I'll tell you something about British people. British people are very, very cocky. You know, cocky people, they like to be praised. If you praise them, you massage their ego. They're happy. You know, it's like when you tell them the same kind of things that you tell them, it can make their whole day. So if they tell you why did you choose to study in the UK, you tell them that, excuse me, UK has the best universities in the world, undoubtedly. You know what I mean? If you tell them that, you see them adjusting their shoes and sitting properly because you've already created that environment that has already massaged their ego. They're happy hearing that. They want to proceed. They want to continue with the discussion. So if they ask you why you choose to study in the UK, tell them that obviously UK has the best universities in the world, undoubtedly. In fact, I had people in my country that studied in Essex University. Our current Minister of Justice studied in Essex University. And I told them that, look, I have people that I look up to in this country. In fact, our current Minister of Justice studied in my university and he was also a Chevening scholar. This is inspiring. I want to be like him. So I told him that I could only get this opportunity when I go to the UK to do my master's. I also told them that the UK, the master's program in UK is 1 year compared to other countries in Europe. And that if you have the chance to do a master's in 1 year, you are closer to your goal. The other 1 year that you should be wasting to study, you're already doing that into something productive. You come to your country and already start impacting the lives of people around you in the following year. So I told them that the fact that it's 1 year is very, very convenient for me. And I also told them that obviously, I said this to them. I told them that all work, no play makes Fatimata a dull person. And look at me, I'm not dull. So I told them that obviously, if I go to the UK, I want to enjoy myself. I have a life to live and I need to live it well. I told them about my club. I told them that my favorite club is Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan. And the reason I support Liverpool is because of their motto, you never have to walk alone. So I want to really come to an environment where I don't have to stay alone. I don't have to walk alone. I want to feel part of the system. And I feel that UK will provide that environment for me to not have to walk alone, to be around people, to be empowered, to be supported. And I told them how the UK actually grooms world leaders. I told them the world-class universities in UK. And I told them how this is going to influence my stay in the UK and my whole Chevening experience. The last question that I remember that they asked me, obviously, I know my colleagues will come talk about the networking part and all other things, yeah. But I think the last question that they asked me was, do you think you will be selected? I told them yes. I'm very sure that I'll be selected. Why? Because I think I've pulled a good interview. I feel that I've actually done a good job. And they looked at me and laughed. So obviously they will ask you to talk about questions that you have. Do you have any questions to ask them? And I wanted to really know how many people will be selected in the Gambia. I wanted to know the criteria for the selection. I wanted to know how long I'll hear from them. I was just doing that just to engage them, just to really know their perspective, just to understand them, just to see the vibe, how the communication is going, just to see how positive it is. But one thing I'd like to tell you is, so my interview lasted for 50 minutes. No, 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. And I'll tell you one thing I did not do is to unnecessarily elaborate. I didn't elaborate. I can tell you for sure. I made sure I hit everything straight to the point. I didn't elaborate. I kept it very simple. I was myself throughout. I didn't have to impress anybody. And I made them really understand that, look, this is something that I've got and I can do this. And you can do the same. So don't panic. Don't lose confidence. Just be yourself. You'll make it. Thank you. I think my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fatumat. Actually, yeah, the time is up, but I couldn't stop here because the notes were all important and very coherent. Thank you so much again, Matta. So we're moving to Muhammad. Muhammad, go ahead, and you have maximum 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short.
Okay.
My fellow Shabna, Rob, I think covered a lot of different good points about like online interviews, but because like a lot of countries are going away with the restrictions and stuff, I feel like a lot of things are going to be in person. So I'll cover a few immediate points about like in-person interviews. I'm a military guy, so I take a very military approach to most things. If you're going to a building or like a new office or something like that for the first time, you always go and scout it out beforehand, like maybe a day, a couple days before. Go see where you're going. You don't want to show up like 30 minutes early and then be like, okay, I don't know where to park, I don't know which building to go to, which floor it's in, and like be stressed out about all of that just before your interview. So if you're going in person, make sure you already know exactly where you're going, where you're parking, what you're going to be doing on that day. So that's the first point. Second point, obviously be dressed well, like your presentation and everything is going to speak volumes. So your first impression is important. So do that very well. Um, Second thing that I want to talk about, that I've already supervised a few of the mock interviews that some of the applicants have done. And one thing that I noticed was a lot of people had trouble answering about British cultures and values and those type of questions. So make sure you learn at least a few things about British culture, British values. It could be anything about like how much history they have, how much they value different cultures and diversity in the UK, and how much they value education, like anything. Like there's so many different things that you could talk about, something that you can resonate with, something that you are passionate about, that the UK also like is very like that they also care about and values. So find a few things that like that you can talk about. The next one for me is networking. A lot of people, when it came to networking, just talked about the Chevening alumni network, and that was about it. Don't limit yourself there. Like when you're going to a university, the three that you put down on, make sure you research which clubs they have, which like societies they have, what are the opportunities in that town or like place. So for example, I'm in Lancaster University. Here, like there is a good chance for me to volunteer, and I'm volunteering with this organization called Walks for All. So every week on Tuesdays we go and we walk with elderly people, like people that are like 65, 70. Like the oldest guy I think is 95 years old. Very old people that have a very hard time walking and stuff and don't have a lot of company. So these people come, we take them out for walks, get some fresh air, get some exercise, and just chat around. Like it's a very easy walk, but I enjoy it a lot because I like being in the outdoors. So I found something that I love to do, that I can also do and volunteer and like spend time with. So find volunteering opportunities that you might do in the future. Find societies, clubs. There's so many different ones. Lancaster isn't the biggest university here, but even for us, I think there's like 160 different clubs and societies here. So do a little bit more research about those things. The last one that I really wanted to highlight was one thing that I was not prepared for was the question when they asked like, do you have any questions for us? That was the one thing I was not ready for. So like when they asked me, I was like, how soon am I gonna hear back from the interview panel? Like that was the only thing I could come up with at the moment, because that's the only thing I was thinking. So make sure you try and come up with at least a few questions that you could ask them. If you don't have any questions, that's also fine, but don't be caught off guard. And as everybody else have said, make sure that you are confident. You've already passed the most difficult part. Very few people that apply actually make it to the interviews. So if you made it to the interviews, you're like at least 50% of the way there. Like it's a 50% chance. They don't want to spend so much time on the interviews, especially like I think for the Maldives they interviewed maybe 10 people and they selected 6 of them. So like those are pretty good odds. And because as for us, we even had the High Commissioner herself there. So if you are going to have somebody important like that, do a little bit of research on them just in case they are there, and what their background is, what they're passionate about. Some people have written books, some people are very vocal about certain things, especially in international relations. So do a little bit more research on them in case they are there, and you'll be able to like hit a few of those things. Another one that I really wanted to highlight that I found that a lot of the applicants have not done is find out what the UK is doing in your country. Like what they're passionate about, what they're concerned about your country, whether that's like, I know some African countries, they are very, they're talking about like girls' education and like issues like female genital mutilation or like environmental issues or whatever, like anything. It could be anything, but go just on their Twitter page or their website, find out what UK in blank country is doing, and make sure you try to tie it in with your career goals. Okay, like as a teacher, this is what I'm going to be trying to do, or like as a like for me, like as a military officer, I want to make sure we do and this and that in the Maldivian military. So like if you can tell them, okay, after I study in the UK, after I come back home, my future career is going to be aligned with the UK's goals in my country, it's going to help out a lot. It's going to tell them, okay, this is the right guy. Like if we help him, he's going to come back and help us achieve our goals. So that's usually an easy way to go about any interview. I think those are the all the points that I have. If you guys have any other questions, happy to help.
Thank you so much, Muhammad. They were lovely comments and tips. I think all participants loved the points. We have a new session for today. I don't know. We have Jamil here. He is from Mali. He had his interview in the past few days. We want him to participate and mention the fresh experience of the interview, how it went, and what was his experience. If the Jamil hears me, go ahead, friend.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello,
Dear
friend.
Mohammed, I hope I hope I hear all these comments before my interview. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to take part this before my interview. So
Yeah, no
really,
problem. Yeah, go ahead with the
since
experience.
the
How was your experience?
so since the beginning, the mock interview that you organized really helped us so much through your WhatsApp groups. So I did my interview here at the Embassy of United Kingdom in Mali. So I'm journalist. My course, the first course is Media Communication International Journalism. So in my interview, it take almost 30 minutes, so 35 minutes. So the first question was introduce yourself. So it was presentation. So I really hope the case of Fatumata, so she had some comment. I hope myself I also add those comments to my introduction. So unfortunately, so I think things will go on. So the second question was talk about your courses and would you like to change anything about your courses? So this was my second question. And the third one was about leadership. They said, talk about the leaders or leaders that have inspired you and why do they inspire you? So they didn't ask me to talk about leadership skills, things like this. They directly go with leaders that inspire me and comment on them and how I want my career to be like what they are doing. So I had taken an example on a Chevening Fellowship, which is a Nigerian. He is a Nigerian, John Momo. He has been Chevening Fellowship in 1990, and he passed through the University of Glasgow. So I've taken an example on him. And there is also a guy in Mali. He's a journalist. He has worked for BBC for so many years, and he has been also the the general director of our national TV channel for many years. So I have taken them example and role models and comment on them and how I want to have my journalism career similar to them. So the following question was, how do you think Chevening can help you to be like your role model? So after commenting on them, so they asked me, how do you think Chevening can help you to be like your role model? So this question followed. So I was obliged also to try to link my journalism career to how they did and how I want to do myself so as to attain what they did. The following question was, do you have any networking skills? So this was the following questions. And after this, is there any journalist networking association where you are a member of? So this was the second question of my networking, the essay part. So after this, they say, why do you want to study in the UK, and what do you expect of achieving by studying there? So this was the I will repeat the question, please. Uh, why do you want to study in the UK, and what do you expect of achieving by studying in the UK that you cannot achieve in your country here in Mali? So they want to know why I want to go to study in UK and what I can acquire there as skills that I cannot have in my own country. So these questions arrived in the study in UK as a part. And the following question is how Mali and UK are going to benefit from my studies once I go to study in UK. So how these two countries are going to benefit from my studies. So this was also an important question. So the panelist was composed of two people. The third one was a Malian, and the two other were women. The one from Chevening Commission, and the other from the embassy of UK in Mali. So the guy said, major field is a challenge. How do you think you can change the corruption of major in Mali for a better democracy? Because I started my study in UK career by the democratical issues in my country. So they asked me how my studies of measure can change the influence of bad political leaders on majors in Mali, because they give them money and we did in political campaigns. The candidates that are not the right one, they do not have a proper agenda. So they just give money to TV shows, to radios, and they comment on them. So those who are not educated enough, they follow them with small gifts. So how can I fight against this with my education? So this question was, after this, they asked me whether I have any question. So I asked them, so how do they support scholars when they come back in the countries? Because in Mali here, there is no Chevening alumni again. So before 5 years, Mali was not eligible for this scholarship. So we only have 3 alumni. 2 are studying in UK now, and only 1 return again. So it was a challenge. I think without social measures, we really do not know much about this scholarship. Most of Malian either go to United States for through Fulbright scholarship or France. So hundreds and hundreds of students go to France each year for their studies. So they really appreciate this question, because she told me they are going, once those 2 scholars come back in the country, they are going to create these associations and try to work with them through the different projects like UK Aid and through the project or the embassy in the country. So that's all. Thank you, Mohammed, for giving me.
Thank you so much, Tiamat from Mali, for your lovely experience. We hope, and we don't pray, we hope, because you all deserve to be here, to be in the UK. But we hope to meet you by September or maybe October in the UK, because we have 3-4 months to stay here to meet you guys and to what would we call it, to hunt some money, maybe some experience, some working here in the UK. So we hope we meet you here in the UK. Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much for your lovely experience.
Thank
Okay,
you.
guys, we have 25 minutes, no more than 25 minutes, and we will be happy to receive questions from you. And hopefully today's session we have new friends. I think it's for some of the friends is the first time to join our mentorship. Be reminded that we have already uh, shared and uploaded all with yourself. Any host. Yeah. Okay, we have already shared our videos on YouTube. You can find them on YouTube by my account, Dr. Harki. And also you can find the links and the information on our Global Chevening Mentorship page in Facebook. on Facebook. Uh, Rahmatullah, could you please tell, because I think it's the third or the fourth one I'm muting yourself. Rahmatullah, I think. Otherwise, it will be somehow problematic for everyone. Okay, we are receiving the questions. You can raise your hand. Okay, you raised your hand. Good. Thank you. uh, before getting your questions, I really want to thank someone who was and is really collaborating with me in this project side of our Chevening scholars. Sarah Khidr from Algeria, I'm really thankful for your help and your collaboration for designing the posters of our project, because I think media maybe okay. Because I believe that media can make a productive impact on activities, and hopefully we have managed the global Chevening mentorship in a good way and in a productive way. Hopefully currently there are 100 people who are listening to us and getting benefit from the meeting. So I really, on behalf of all scholars, because we are all happy with this project, we thank you for your efforts and for your time, for your designs, and thank you again. Okay, we start with Shan. Shan, go ahead. And please direct your question to one of our scholars, Muhammad, Matta, or Robert. Go ahead, friend.
Thank you. I mean, my question is open to three of you because it's a very common question. So anyone can, or if three of you can answer, I'll be happy. The thing is, I have two questions. One is, how should we call the interviewers? Like respected interviewers, sir, madam. I mean, how should we call them during the interview? And the second is, if they ask us why Chevening, why not other scholarship? I mean, what should be the an ideal answer? Like Chevening is fully funded, or I mean, same kind of facilities are for Commonwealth shared scholarship, or Commonwealth scholarship has those facilities, those alumni network, fully funded, all these things. So, what makes Chevening distinctive that I choose it? So these are the two questions. Thank you.
Robert or Muhammad, you wanna?
Yeah, I think I could have a go
Okay.
at it.
Okay.
The first part of the question, for how to address them, it depends on who it is. For if it's a high commissioner or ambassador, just address them as high commissioner or ambassador. Everybody else, I think sir, ma'am, miss, I think it's fine. It depends on your culture as well. So whatever is the appropriate, respectful way in your culture, like some places they call them madam, other people ma'am, or like whatever it is in your culture, that should be fine. It's not that big of a deal. The second part of the question, why Chevening? You could find a lot of things online as well on their website. That's a great way to look at it. For me, how I answered it was it's fun. It's fun. Like most of the other things, they are focused on academics. Chevening itself is a lot of fun. Like we have a treasure hunt that we are doing that spans all over the UK. I've hiked 8 hours to go and find a castle in the middle of the forest to gain like 3 imaginary points for this treasure hunt that we're doing. Some people are going up to see the northern lights in like northern Scotland and stuff like that. So there's a lot of fun activities, and this year we didn't have that many, but later in March we have our Chevening Summit as well. So there are a lot of different things that Chevening organizes. It's not just okay, you guys are part of this group and you can connect with each other. They actively do like organize like different events, volunteering events, beach cleanups. There's one in Leeds this year, this month, where you can go and work in an animal sanctuary and work with horses and ponies and stuff, if that's what you're into. There's so many different opportunities. So it's not just studies, so many other things that Chevening provides. So I think that's what I would answer.
Thank you, Muhammad. And guys, could you please ask only one question, and please direct your question to someone, even if it's general. Okay, we have Robert, we have Matta, we have Muhammad. So because we only have 20 minutes. Okay, one question directed clearly. Go ahead. Can't see the name. Okay, go ahead. Esmeralda.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Esmeralda, go ahead.
My question, thank you, it's for you, Diyar. I would like to know what are the main challenges that you face as Chevening alumni in the UK?
Okay, thank you. I'm still current scholar. I'm not alumni, but as a scholar, I think the most challenge for me, there are two challenges. There are still challenges actually. Maybe we most Cheveners share the first challenge, which is the new style of study, and there are a lot of readings, a lot of research, a lot of tasks to be done, a lot of assignments. This is totally new for me. Actually, it's one of the challenges, but it doesn't mean that they can't handle it. We all can handle it. We are enjoying our time. We are hiking. We are going to Lake District. We are going to London, and we are exploring the cities whenever we have enough time, whenever we have enough money, because we are spending a lot of money. Okay, this is the first challenge. The second challenge, I really recommend you, when you get your scholarship, by exact when you receive your scholarship that you have been selected, I really recommend you to look for accommodation. Accommodation in the UK is one of the most biggest challenge, and currently I'm in a big problem. I'm looking for a new accommodation, because when you come here, you find out that the accommodations, the quality of accommodations is very bad somehow in some cities, and also it's very difficult to find a good deal. Okay, so I recommend you, when you receive the conditional offer by June, check Rightmove. I'll write down the names. I don't know if you remember. We have Rightmove website, and we have Zoopla website, and also check your university accommodation to make a good deal as soon as possible, even if you need to pay in advance. Okay, because accommodation is one of the challenge. I think that accommodation for me was more difficult than Chevening, believe me. So imagine. Thank you. Okay, we have Bayada Abdul. We have Bayada from Baghdad, from Iraq. Go ahead, Bayada.
Hello, dear, and everybody. I'm Baida. Okay,
Bayda.
I'm Baida from, yeah. Thank you, dear, for giving me this opportunity to attend this meeting. I have one question to Matta, please, if she can answer. She said there is a difference between the qualities and the skills. Let's say networking qualities and networking skills, or leadership qualities and leadership skills. What's the difference between them? Because when she was speaking, her voice was lagging, so I couldn't follow up with her, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. What do you want to know? You want to know about networking skills, or you want to know about leadership skills? I didn't
The
get
difference
that.
between skills and qualities, I think.
Yeah, thank you
Want me to
for
repeat that?
Briefly,
You want me to
very
repeat that for
briefly,
you?
because we're gonna share the link. No worries, but you may just repeat it in brief. What's the difference between quality and skill?
And skills, yeah. So a leadership quality is something that's natural, that's naturally attributed to you as an individual. For example, being able to communicate very well is something that is natural. It's something that not everybody can learn or not everybody can do. So the fact that you have that is something that's unique to you. So that's a leadership quality. Being empathetic, being able to show empathy, being able to feel what other people feel is a quality of being human. It's not everybody that really feels sorry for people. It's not everybody that really feel the pain that other people go through. So that has to be natural. That has to come from your heart for you to be able to do that. So the leadership skills are things that you can learn. For example, you can learn to be a good negotiator. You can read books on negotiation. You can do debates. You can do public speaking. You can actually have a discussion with people and try to bargain for things. That develops your skills as a negotiator. You can also develop problem solving skills. You can really learn how people solve problems. You can learn from them. You can improve that on that skill. You can actually develop your innovative skills. You can develop your strategic thinking skills. So the skills are external in the sense that these are things that you can learn and develop as you go along the way. But the qualities are actually internal. They are in you. They come from your soul, from your heart as a human being. They really dictate and determine how you interact and mingle with people in your leadership profile. So at the end of the day, if you are able to solve a problem, you need to add the two. The two have to go together. The quality and the skills, they need to merge for you to be able to solve a problem as a leader. I hope
Thank
that
you.
Okay,
helps.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The power
You're
cut.
Thank you.
Yalla, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Baida, and thank you, Mata. Florence, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Thank you so much for this space. Mata, this question is for you. So it's my third consecutive time in the interview step. Do you think that mention like at the end of the interview, like or white evening, like I am so determined of scholarship that I applied again, and it's my third time in this interview step. Do you think that it's good? It's good to say it, or do you think that it
Of course, you
maybe?
can tell them that really shows how persistent you are. That tells them how much you want the scholarship. Some people would try applying like once, twice, they don't get it, they're discouraged. I've seen people that applied like 5, 6, 7 times to get the scholarship. So it really doesn't matter how many times you apply. But tell them that the fact that you're able to make it to the interview this time around to really show them who you are and what you can offer to the table is very, very invaluable to you. So tell them that this experience is something that is very, very meaningful to you. And that whatever come out of it, I mean, you are very optimistic that you will make it this time around, but whatever comes out of it, you are very, very grateful that you had the opportunity to meet them and share your experiences with them. So it's definitely not bad to talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Florence and Mata again. Ibrahim, go ahead. Ibrahim, we can't hear you. Ibrahim, can you hear us? Okay, we go to Peter. We go to Peter. Ibrahim, we come back to you, okay? Peter, go ahead.
Thank you very much, guys. Good evening from South Africa. My name is Peter Paul. I hope everybody can hear me. My question will be directed to Matta. I think it just is, I resonate within the way that she communicates, and I'm very quite passionate about communication. And Matta, I wanted to find out, man, this is something that I hadn't really thought of. I mean, I can imagine the value of actually as part of the preparation, sitting in front of someone and actually getting that practice experience. But just in terms of importance, if you feel that you can communicate, just how much importance would you put on it as part of the preparation? Can I really go in there and do well if I've missed that part of a practice step and so on? And that's certainly not to say that I'm putting it down or whatever, but I'm just trying to get a sense of how you think how important it is. And I appreciate your view on that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. So, like I said, the bottom line is be authentic. Just be your authentic self. What may work for me might not work for you. There are different rules for different people. Personally, I didn't have to go through that process of getting someone to talk to or talking to the mirror. I sincerely do not know how to do that because it just increases my anxiety level. I was just prepared to just face the interview as it is. And one thing I did that really helped me during the interview to communicate with them, I maintained a constant eye contact with them. So if you ask me the question, I look direct into your eyes and answer the question. But I just make you understand that the question is for you. You're the central approach. You're the central person that I'm talking to. But I make sure that I constantly kept the other two people engaged. So my interview was in person, and I had like 3 people that interviewed me. So I kept like a constant check with them. You know, when you get to the interview, the kind of vibe they give you, you will know if your interview is boring or is interesting. So you have to be very, very alert. You have to be really, really positive minded and just be yourself. Just be authentic. If you think communicating with people, getting people on board to listen to you, to really see the points that you have improved on, is fine. You can do that. But if you think that doesn't work for you, read the questions, understand how the questions are answered. Just understand the approach because the questions will not be asked the same way. But when you understand what you're supposed to answer in the leadership question and what you're supposed to answer in the networking question, it helps you. It boosts your confidence. It reinforces something really
you
positive
so
and
much.
solid in you. So don't worry about it. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Dear scholars, we will be somehow in a faster way to answer the questions because of the time limitation. Ibrahim, can you speak for now? Okay, Ibrahim, can you speak? We can't hear you. There's a problem with your models maybe. Okay, so you can ask by chat, okay? Write your question by chat, only you. Okay, Ibrahim, thank you. Go ahead, Khalid.
Okay, thank you very much, dear, for this opportunity. My question is, I'm sorry, it's going to be directed to Robert and Matta.
Only one question.
It's about, yeah, only one question. Actually, I would like to know how to answer the question on leadership experience. Like, how can I talk about the skill and the quality? Like, how can I put them together while answering the question? I think the question I say is going to be directed to Robert because I'm also in the education system. And what example can I give to talk about leadership experience or someone who impacts me as an educator, if they happen to ask me that question? Can you get me?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Matta?
Okay, you want me to? Okay, I thought you wanted Robert to answer. So I was talking about the leadership skills. I was talking about the leadership experience, and it's just simple. You don't need to rely on anybody. You don't need anybody to share their leadership skills or their leadership experiences with you for you to answer that question. The question is unique to you. They want to hear from you. They want to know your experience. They want to know what you have gone through personally as an individual. So it doesn't matter. The unique thing about it is it really doesn't matter. The leadership experience, it doesn't even have to be related to your work. No, they're not interested. What they're interested in is how were you able to identify a problem and solve the problem? And what does that tell of you as a leader, as a young person who is willing to be part of the Chevening community? That's what they're looking for. So whatever experience you had growing up as a child, your lifetime, any point that you use a leadership skill and leadership experiences to solve a particular problem and you think is relevant to this, bring it up. But don't go to anybody and ask them what they've said. It has to be unique to you. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much. Robert, we have a question. I wanted to ask about my career plans. Should I stick to my essay or should I add or expand on my examples? From Ibrahim.
Yeah, it's good to stick to your examples in the essay, but when you're going for the interview, at least have one more example because they may ask you
I mean, regarding career plan, Be reminded.
Sorry?
Career plan.
Regarding career plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in that case, I would advise just stick to what you wrote in the essay. And just to add something on what was asked about leadership, as somebody who works in the education sector, there's a lot that you are doing to create change. So just pick one and use the star approach. That's very, very important. As Matta has said, what's the situation, what was the task, the action that you took, and the result. Make sure you enumerate the result that you achieved, like you reached out to how many people. And it's always not easy, but please, please, please ensure you use the word I. As much as you may have worked in a team, ensure you just say what you as an individual did. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ibrahim. Madiha, go ahead, direct your question, please.
Hi, my question is directed to Mata, and I want to know that do we have to stick to a certain time frame while answering questions, like let's say 5 minutes per uh, answer to a question, or we wait for them to cut us off? Like, how should we go about it regarding the time frame?
Okay, thank you. So, what I would advise is don't set a particular timeline or a time limit for a particular question you want to answer, because that can be dangerous. If you prepare yourself to speak for 5 minutes and everything you want to say is 5 minutes, they don't want you to speak for 5 minutes. They cut you. You will get confused. That can kill your vibe. So don't prepare for a specific time as to when you want to answer a particular question. But what I want to say is don't leave things hanging. If they ask you to talk about your leadership experience, talk about everything that they need to know. If they ask you to talk about your career, talk about everything that they need to know. Don't leave them with doubts. Clear everything. If they need more clarity, they will ask you. It's your time. The interview is for 1 hour, by the way. The interview is 1 hour in person. I don't know what's the online, but it's 1 hour. They wouldn't stop you and say you're talking too much. They will not do that. They're professionals. So you have all the time in the world to make sure that you give it your best. Don't over elaborate. Don't talk to a certain extent that you feel you're not making sense. If you're not making sense, the kind of look they will give you, you'll know that they're not really interested in what you're saying. So just manage your time, keep it precise to the point. Don't leave points hanging, clear everything. And if they need to elaborate or if they need you to expand more on something, they will ask you to do so. That's my advice.
Thank you, Mata. Thank you. Yes, I agree with Mata. Haptamu, I think. Go ahead, friends.
Thank you very much. Greetings from Ethiopia. Thank you all for this platform. I want to ask Mata about leadership and influence. I am preparing myself to answer. I'm expecting two different questions about leadership and also influence. But in many cases, I see that influence is not mentioned, or it is the same with leadership, or can I expect different question about influence? And I'm preparing myself in terms of examples differently. So
Okay.
how should I prepare myself about influence?
So yeah, the leadership and the influence thing, they go together side by side. Because as a leader, you are going to make influence. The decisions that you're going to make, the problem that you identify that you want to solve, it has an element of influence. Why? Because you are able to influence the people to really believe in you. And you did that, you were able to solve it. And even if you solve the problem, the impact is influence because you influence this and this and this and this to happen. So it's positive. So don't separate leadership and influence. They go together. That's why even in the Chevening leadership essay, they have leadership and influence. Yeah, they have networking and relationship building because they are more or less the same thing. So don't prepare for them separately. Prepare for them all together. However, you may not be asked a question directly to say, okay, tell us about your leadership experience, tell us about your leadership skills or your leadership qualities. They may not come that way. They can tell you that, what do you think about this? When you're in this kind of situation, what do you do? An example of the guy that said he went to the interview where they asked him about world leaders a leader that you look up to, what did that person do? Tell us. They want you to tell them a problem that that person has identified and how that resonates or that connects to you. So if you talk about that person, you can bring it to your own self and say, yeah, for example, bringing this to me, why I believe in this person or why I resonate with their ideas is because the approach that they took to solve this particular problem is something that I've also used in a similar situation. I did this and this and this and that. I use my skills, I use my qualities, I solve the problem. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. James, go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much for this platform. My question is straightforward. I want to know if it's necessary to define some of the answers that you'll be giving. Like, for example, when Matta was talking about leadership, she spoke about, um, how you can solve problems and also honesty. Is it really important to start defining first before, whilst answering your questions, or just go straight to the point and give your scenarios? Thank you.
What do you mean by defining?
Like defining, for example, when she spoke about the qualities of a leader, being honest, is it really important to define it first and then start answering your question?
No. Matta was explaining the qualities and skills only for you to recognize it, to organize the qualities of your leadership and the skills of leadership to use. So you go straight to the point, okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, James.
All right.
we are trying to shorten the answers, and because it's the last session, okay, even time is over, but however, we will be accepting these 7 questions. Adriana will be the last person. Queen, go ahead, friend.
Yeah, thank you. So my question is, can you share some follow-up questions regarding the career, leadership, and networking questions in your interview and how to approach them? So I want to direct this question to perhaps Mohammed. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
For following up on networking, and which was the other one?
Networking, leadership, and career.
Okay, so follow-up questions, a lot of times they will ask specific examples. If you are too vague in your answers, whether networking, like I did this and that with like a group, like they would want to know specific examples of how you influence people or how you were able to do something. So like for me personally, when I was asked those questions, like I'm a junior officer in the military, I'm not a very senior person. So how do I show leadership when I'm having to work for my boss and my boss's boss and all of them? So like I'm able to give ideas and like influence them in a way where like they will be able to accept my ideas without me getting all the credit. So like certain things like that. So you'll have to give specific examples, be as detailed as possible with your answers, because if you give a vague general answer, like I want to be like a good, like I want to be an influential person in my society, I want to help people in my society, like that's what everybody wants, but be specific and expand on it. And if you don't, they might ask you, give a specific example, or do you have a specific example? A lot of times they could ask a certain time where you failed as a leader, or sometime where networking, like where it didn't work out. So like they could ask the negative of it as well as a follow-on question. So be prepared for those.
Exactly. And guys, I really recommend you, as an addition for Mohammed's answer, I really recommend you to check the UK media, BBC, and the, I don't know, conferences from UK which are related to your field, because I remember mine was education. I was checking Boris Johnson if he has any comments regarding education in that period, that month, or that week, or that day of my interview, to show them that I'm checking your country, I'm checking everything regarding education in the UK. So yeah, I had an example. I may not be able to mention it here, but I had an example I mentioned. They were surprising. Wow. Okay, so this is a good tip for you. You may get benefit from the tip. Thank you, Muhammad, and thank you, friend, Queen, for your question. Lamin, go ahead. Lamin, can you hear us? Rusa,
Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening from the Gambia, dear. Thank you so very much once again for the opportunity. I am Lamid from the Gambia, and my question is hereby directed to Matta. I don't know if she can hear me. By the way, I knew Matta personally, and she's an influential leader, to be quite honest.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Go
Matta,
ahead.
the question I have here is, I applied for the Chevening Scholarship, and I was fortunate to have been shortlisted for the interview. And currently, I hold an unconditional offer for both my first and second choice programs and universities. However, for my third choice, I still hold a conditional offer and not an unconditional offer, with IELTS being the only outstanding condition. So I wanted to ask this question, knowing fully well that I've already secured an unconditional offer for both my first choice, which is MSc Agriculture and Development at the University of Reading, and my second choice program, which is Agriculture for Sustainable Development at the University of Greenwich. Do I need to arrange and then write the IELTS exam in order to turn my third choice, which is the MSc Agriculture for Sustainable Development and Food Security at the Royal Agricultural University? Is there any need, since I've already secured unconditional offer for both my
Yeah.
first and second choice programs?
I get it. I'm laughing because if you have an unconditional offer for your first and your second choice university, it means you're one leg in already. You've already secured your seat. For a lot of people that go to the interview and they don't get unconditional offers, it's always a problem because I'll share this experience, my own, what happened to me. I applied, the first university I applied to, when I was applying to the Chevening, I sent the list of 3 universities. So my first choice and my third choice university, they didn't accept me because they said the course that I wanted to do, I need to have a master's degree first to be able to do that course. So it was only the second university that admitted me. And then I came again and applied to another university. When I got the Chevening scholarship, Chevening said I cannot go to the university that was not part of my selected choices. I only have to stick to the second university that gave me an unconditional offer. So you don't need a third university. If you want to go to the first university, they always consider your first choice because automatically for them that's where you want to go to. That's why it's your first choice. So as long as you have an unconditional offer for your first choice university, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about anything else.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was the first question. I have a second question,
Sorry,
and I am very sorry for
you really
interrupting.
have to
You can send me a message. You can
yes,
send me a message. No,
you know her, send her a message.
I'll be happy,
Thank you
I'll be
so
happy
much,
to answer.
Rusa, go
all
ahead.
right.
Sorry,
Thank you
Lamin.
very much.
Go ahead, Rusa. We are rushing out.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening. Go ahead, friend.
Thank you. If I'm asked this question, what are your relationship building skills and what issue I experienced that I use in building the relationship, how will I tackle that? And then if they ask what are your leadership, they ask a leadership process. What are the leadership process? How can I answer that?
Rusa, are you directing your question for someone?
To Marta. Morning.
To Matta. Okay. Matta, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't get that. What did she say? She said if you're asked what?
Rusa?
The relationship building.
If you're asked about
can I connect that to networking?
Can you connect that to what? Your leadership?
Can I connect that to the networking, or how can I answer that?
Yeah, of course. Relationship building is networking. It is from networking that you're able to build relationships. So when you network with people, you build relationships, you're able to get something out of that relationship. They're also able to benefit from that relationship. So when they ask you about your relationship building skills, they're talking about networking. It's the same.
And then okay, if that question is now based on the networking skill, can I use media as my tool of networking?
Can you use your what?
Can I use media as a tool of networking?
Okay, so when the networking, they want you to tell them about, for example, if you, let's say, for example, you traveled, or let's say you had an initiative that you did, and you invited people over, you had dignitaries, you had big people, you network with them, and the next minute you're able to enlarge your platform, you're able to get better opportunities. That's what they want. Don't talk about the media. Well, if for example you do your networking on the media, you're able to communicate and link up with people, and you have benefits through the media, talk about it. But this is not a general question. It's specific to your experience. So talk about how you met people, what relationships you got from them, and how these relationships are actually able to develop you as a person.
Thank you, Rusa. Sorry, your voice was unclear somehow. Okay, for that reason we were asking. Davis, go ahead.
Okay, another question I didn't finish
Sorry,
about the
Rusa.
leadership process.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. I have to interrupt you. Only one question. If you have more questions, you may just add it on groups or you email us. Of course, we will be replaying you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Okay.
Go ahead, Davis.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, friend.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dia. My question directed to you. If I will be asked. If I will be asked, do you have any question to the panel? The answer should be in relation to my career, or any question relating to United Kingdom or network or Chevening. That is my question.
Any question comes to your mind and related to the Chevening, your course, UK, or maybe your future study, or maybe when you come back, whatever comes to your mind and related to the interview, okay? So the interview is about studying the UK, getting a scholarship, being a leader, being a networker, being a professional in the future, whatever comes to your mind. No problem at all. Okay, even it's quite normal to not ask. Okay, there are many people who haven't asked any questions and they are here, they are in the UK. But when you ask a question, you show that, yeah, you want to make a networking, you want to show your leadership skills, you want to show that you have questions, you have searched and you want to find more. That's all. Okay, friend, thank you. Nien, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. My question is for Matta, and it is about university choices. Do we need to make comparison for why we choose first university, and we have to explain another for why we choose second university and third university? Thank you.
Thank you for that. So usually when you select the 3 universities that you select, you're giving them the impression that if you get any of those universities, you will go to them, that they are your top 3 universities that you've selected for the program. So either of those will be good. But when they ask you about your university selection, why did you go to this university? Tell them about your top choice from the list of universities that you selected, the top choice, and why you want to go to that university. You can also talk about your second choice then and your third choice, depending on how the interview goes. If they need you to explain more on that, they will ask you, but I'll advise that you explain your first choice extensively and possibly the second choice.
Thank you, guys. Adriana, go ahead.
How appropriate is to ask the interviewers something the situation between Russia and Ukraine, or is possible the committee to ask us about this situation, and in this case, will it be the right answer about it?
Sorry, Adriana, at the beginning your voice was not reaching us. If you repeat your question again and direct your question, thank you.
Okay. In reference to the situation between Ukraine and Russia,
I see.
will be the appropriate that means I ask or they ask me about the situation. It's possible they ask me or
where are you from?
Colombia.
Colombia, no problem at all. Just share your comment. If you're from Ukraine or Russia or maybe, I don't know, wherever, but not the countries of close to the problem, you just share your comment. I think we all seek peace and we all prohibit war and we don't want war. So you may just mention your comment, and I think they will not ask these questions if your field is not about politician and maybe education policies or media or this stuff. Okay, use your leadership, use what's in your heart, use what you believe in to answer these questions, because they are very argumental questions. It's about countries, it's about people, it's about all of us. Okay. Yeah, thank
It
you,
does
thank you.
depend on
Thank you.
it does depend a lot on your field. So like for example,
Yeah.
for me,
My
I'm
field.
doing conflict resolution. I'm doing conflict resolution and peace studies. So if you're in something like that or international relations, you will get asked that. So if you're doing something in the field, be sure to like have a comment on it at least.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for
Okay,
your answer.
you're welcome, Adriana. We said that we will not accept questions, but we have 4 more questions. Okay, Cletus is the last one. Okay, no more questions, guys, please. Go ahead, Hadir. Go ahead, Hadir. Madiha, go ahead.
Hi, so I wanted to ask, what if I have not submitted my applications to universities, but I have started them and I don't want to change my order of priority? So would that have
No,
an effect of
no
applications? Like I've
problem at
not submitted.
all. No problem at all. Of course, it's better if you have unconditional offer. Of course, it's better if you have conditional offer, but no problem at all, because I have many friends. I have 2, 3 friends. They had unconditional offers. They went interview very confidently, but then they didn't get the scholarship. And I also have friends. They they got the scholarship, but they didn't receive any offers from universities, so they lost the scholarship. The point is, by July, you have to have at least one unconditional offer from the 3 chosen universities in your portal. That's all about the universities. Don't worry at all. Apply them and wait for the results. If you want to get the response somehow sooner, email them that you are one of the shortlisted candidates of Chevening. They will make the process somehow faster. Some universities actually. Thank you, Madiha. Lourdes, go ahead, friends.
Hello. Well, my question was about the question that someone did before about I already applied to my 3 university choices, but I haven't received any answer from them. So I wanted to know if there was if that is a disadvantage to in for the interview.
I really recommend. I think our friends are agreed with me on this point. I really recommend you to read the requirements of your 3 chosen universities. Some people with full respect are very, I don't know, can I say, very confident or very arrogant. They only choose the highest universities in the UK that require 7.5 IELTS and maybe a first class degree. And when they don't have these qualities, of course, they will be rejected. But if you check the universities, if you think that these universities are good with your qualities, professional qualities and academic qualities, so no worries at all. They have no reason to refuse you. Okay, they have no reason to reject you. If you are fine with the requirements, no worries at all. You may email them, tell them that make the process somehow faster. So if you get an answer before your interview, if you get rejected for some reasons, you can change that university. And yes, like that. Thank you, friend.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think Hadir, can you speak for now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, my question for Mata, actually, it's regarding the leadership. I have mentioned in my essay about teaching the visually impaired students, and I want to share this example in my interview. However, I didn't continue this project. It had a great result, but I didn't continue because I had to travel outside the country. So, shall I share it, or it will affect my result, or what's your opinion about that?
No, it will not affect anything. When you share it, just be able to connect that it had an impact. It changed the life. It fulfilled the purpose that you established it for. That's what they're looking at. But if it's a project, even if it's a project that is ongoing, you can still talk about it. But you talk about how you founded it, talk about how you started it, talk about the problem. It's always the problem. I feel that every initiative has a problem that it addresses. So focus on that. It's not a problem if you say it. You'll be fine. Depends on how you say it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Matta. Thank you, Muhammad. I'll give you 5 seconds, each of you 5 seconds to state one sentence to the scholar, to the shortlisted applicants, as maybe as a motivation or as the highest tip in your mind. So Robert, are you with us?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
So, Robert, one sentence.
One sentence.
No, two sentence.
My one sentence, guys, is go for it. You've got what it takes. And let's meet at the airport. Thank you.
There were 3 sentences, bro. Matta, go ahead.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me, and I look forward to welcoming you all in the UK, if that's possible.
Complex sentence. Go ahead, Naif. Muhammad.
Good luck, everyone. You've passed the hardest hurdle so far. Get into the interviews. If you have any other questions also, please feel free to reach out.
That was essay. Okay. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Matta. I really enjoyed this meeting. I really enjoyed it, actually. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you, all friends, for joining us. You may open your cameras if it's possible. We screenshot a memory. So my one sentence for you: don't underestimate yourself. Believe in yourself. Go for it. Crush it. We will be sharing a Google form as a feedback from you guys. I will be directing you by email, and feel free to fill out the form, so we see what's the impact of this global mentorship. So we mentioned you will mention for your friends next year, and 1 or 2 of you may manage this mentorship, because we really enjoyed the mentorship. And currently we are doing many activities in the small groups. Unfortunately, not all of you are participating in small groups because it was the very beginning of the project, and as you know, our time is limited. But however, I think these mentorships were lovely. They were like, for Muslims, like Quran, for Christian people was like Bible, and for other beliefs like their holy books, okay, regarding Chevening and the interview. So let's shoot a screen. Okay, smile. Good. Okay, that's lovely. That's lovely that we have people from 95 countries. Actually, it was out of my expectations. It was out of our expectations. If I was thinking a project like this, I would definitely mentioned during my interview as a networking of Chevening. I don't know. I will make a report and send to the secretary that what these 18 scholars did for the applicants, and this will make their work much harder because you all will be competitive to get a scholarship. So yes, go for it, and have a good night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Usiku mwema, Robert.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you so
Behiwai
much.
Bakhtek
Bye-bye.
Bash. Behiwai Bakhtek Bash in my language. Good luck.
Bye bye.
Well, bye bye. Have a good day.
Zikomo.
Zikomo, go ahead. Davis, Ravel, Robert.
مع السلامة مع السلامة.
Namaste. Go ahead.